Moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Moffat. Resolved that the regular meeting commence at the hour of 7 p.m. And be it further resolved that Council acknowledges that we are meeting in the Robinson Superior Treaty Area on lands that have been traditionally used by several Indigenous nations. But we would like to pay special recognition to our closest Indigenous neighbors, the communities of Bidigonda-Shinabig and Pic-Bobert First Nation. We wish to recognize the long history of the First Nations and Métis people in our region specifically and show respect to them today. All in favor? Thank you. I'll call the meeting to order, and I believe you have some additions.
Yes, through the chair, there are 3 additions to the agenda. Addition to agenda item number 1304, being a bylaw to designate a community improvement project area for the Township of Manitowocz. Addition to agenda item number 1305, being a bylaw to adopt a community improvement plan for the Township of Manitowocz. Addition to agenda item number 1504, Section 239(2)B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, and Section 239(2)E, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, personnel matter.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Hudson. Resolved that the agenda be approved as amended. All in favor? Thank you. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Seeing none. There are no delegations or presentations, so we move to adopt the minutes. Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Hudson. Resolved that the minutes of the special meeting held on July 14th, 2021 are adopted as circulated. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Moffat. Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting held on July 14th, 2021 are adopted as circulated. All in favor? There are no petitions. We have 2 items of correspondence. Do we need to bring one of them down, or are they okay? Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Hudson. Resolved that the correspondence items number 0801 to 0802 be received and filed. All in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Moffat. Resolved that the minutes of the meeting of the Thunder Bay District Social Service Administration Board held on June 17th, 2021 regular and June 17th, 2021 closed be accepted as received. All in favor? The next item is update from the CAO.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. A few updates for you. Minister Patty Hayu has contacted us this week to advise that she will be in Manitowocz on Friday. She would like to meet with residents of the community informally at Friends Bakery. We don't have a time of her arrival yet, but that's certainly something that we can keep you posted on. The other thing that she'd like to do is have a tour of the airport, the completed runway project that we did last year. It was Minister Hayu's ministry that supported that project, and they'd like to have a photo opportunity. So the mayor and all of council are invited if you're available. And again, I will keep you posted as to the time of their arrival. The final farmers market is this weekend on Saturday, along with a show and shine. So you can shine up your vehicles and bring them down and participate if you like. The markets have been very successful. They started off with about 6 vendors at the first, increased to 9 at the second, and we have many vendors signed up to participate in this final market on Saturday. So that's been quite a success, and it brings a lot of traffic to the downtown core, and it's really nice to see all the cars parked along the Huron Walk on the day that the markets are held. Just a reminder that there's no more vaccine clinics scheduled at this time. The hospital is still delivering vaccines as well as the pharmacy, but no large clinics scheduled. And just the last item, AMO starts next week. The Mayor and Councillor Moffat and myself are scheduled to attend that virtually. And we do have 2 approved delegations, one with the Ministry of Heritage, Sport, Tourism, and Cultural Industries to talk about the Manitowoc Historical and Archival Society. And the second delegation is with the Ministry of Energy to talk about the natural gas project. So I'll keep you posted as to the times of those, and so that we can all join by Zoom. That's it.
Thank you very much. Move to the business. Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Scapanello. Resolved that Council is in receipt of Administration Report PW 2021-05 submitted by Darren McKenzie, Public Works Superintendent, regarding the 2021 Drinking Water System Financial Plan. You're on, sir.
Thank you very much, Chair. Through you, Chair. The financial plan is required every 5 years by the Ministry for any owner of a drinking water system. We are at that time now, so our contractor, Aqua, has done the financial plan to show what's forecast for the next 5 to 6 years. There's no budget constraint on it currently, but we will be working with Aqua to find efficiencies so that we aren't using our reserves going forward. It's strictly an approval process for us to have our drinking water license renewed.
Any questions at all?
No, I went
you
through
read it? So.
Looks fine.
And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of Council's review and consideration, report number PW 2021-06, re-2021 Drinking Water Systems Financial Plan prepared by Ontario Clean Water Agency be received, and further that Council accepts the attached Drinking Water System Financial Plan as prepared, and further that Council approves the attached Drinking Water System Financial Plan be submitted to the MECP for the purpose of the Township's Municipal Drinking Water License Renewal. All in favor?
You did say 06, but I think you meant 05 originally?
No, it's got 06 on it. I'm sorry, yes, it is 05.
It was 05. Okay, yeah.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Thank you.
Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Hudson. Resolved that Council is in receipt of Administration Report ADM 2021-29 submitted by Jolene Keogh, Clerk, regarding a trespass to property procedures policy.
Thank you. Through the Chair. As Council will recall, June 23rd, we adopted a respectful behavior policy. So the policy before you is to further guide staff in the event that more restrictive measures are needed. There's some guidelines for staff on how that would look and what the framework would be around that. So this is, again, just to go with the respective behavior policy.
Are there any questions on that? Okay. And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of Council's review and consideration, Council approves the trespass to property procedures policy, and further that Council directs staff to immediately implement the policy and post it to the municipal website for public information. All in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Moffat. Resolved that Council is in receipt of Administration Report FBA 2021-07 submitted by Owen Cranny, Fire Chief, CBCO, regarding a Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing application for consent. You're on, sir.
You did, Council. Through the Chair, I know it's quite a lengthy document, and it's really a Planning Act issue. when those properties were put up for sale, they were put up for sale as independent, individual properties. And what happened is the same person bought both. So there is a section in the Planning Act that they get merged because they weren't on a plan of subdivision. They were part of a Crown Reserve, a large piece of land down there. So they got merged, and they've been treated as one since 2000 when they were purchased. Now that individual wishes to sell one of the properties, and this is the consent process to reversing that, putting them together in 2000, what they did. So it was our understanding at the time that they were going to be sold off as individual properties. It just happened that the same fellow bought both.
Okay, I've got no problems with that.
No, I'm fine with
Okay. And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of council's review and consideration, that council recommends consent be given and authorize staff to proceed with the consent and provide notice to MMAH. All in favor?
Mr. Chair, if I may, one more question. There was some questions in the admin report for council. I wasn't sure how that got handled. I was away on holidays, and whether council wanted to provide answers to those. They're basically it's a housekeeping thing that we need to complete on the application. If they have your report, or I don't know if it wasn't in the resolution to answer the questions, I guess.
No, wasn't on there.
Yeah.
No.
On the second page of the report, the admin report. So if you could, if you would, Mr. Chair, I could just give you the questions now, and
Okay.
you could pose them to council if that's appropriate. So I'll check with the clerk here because I'm not sure on the procedure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. So question number one: does council foresee any new demand for municipal service as a result of this application? The answer is no. The two houses are there. They have their own water system and sewage system now, so that's not going to change. Okay, so I'll just record that as a no if that's the proper process. Thank you. The next one, again, this question it's a generic application, so it's really meant for when you're processing a large-scale plan of subdivision. Does council wish to recommend up to 5% of the land or 2% of the commercial industrial be set aside for public parks? And again, you're talking about two houses. It's not a large subdivision, so then again. Okay. And then you've answered this question already. Does council recommend giving consent? And you've done that in passing your resolution. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Very good.
Very good.
Moved by Councilor Moffat, second by Councilor Scampanello. Resolved that council is in receipt of administration report FBA 2021-08 submitted by Marcel Demers, Municipal Law Enforcement Officer, regarding the ATV bylaw.
Good evening. Through the chair. So what happened is prior to January of this year, the HTA did not allow the ATV to be on municipal road. So the township had to make pass a bylaw to allow them on municipal road, and wherever we didn't want them, then had to be included in the bylaw. So this year, the HTA now allows the ATV and a multi-purpose vehicle, and it's also amphibian vehicle, which is your Argo, to be allowed on the highway. So now we have to make a bylaw to where we don't want them. So where we stayed is the same place that we had them before in the old bylaw, is where we don't want them. The rest of it, the HTA looks after it, and then they can go wherever they want on municipal roads that we don't have the restriction. But the OPP looks after it and not us. So this bylaw is only for the downtown core, the arena, golf course, ski hill. So that's basically the same.
Okay, through the chair. I guess may I suggest that in those particular areas that we do have proper signage, just to help out for those people that do not follow meetings and so on, that, if the sign is there, it's,
So we did add some sign on pedestrian way. We had some sign on the arena. But we need to I think the sign has to be 4x4. Nobody sees them. They go right by them and they don't look at them. But yeah,
But I mean, still.
At least the sign will be
If
there.
somebody's caught there, they can say, hey, I didn't see no sign. Well, it was there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but we did sign a few more, and actually we can maybe throw some more sign in.
Yeah, I don't think that would hurt.
Right.
So. Okay, yeah, other than that,
And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of council's review and consideration, that council approves the new off-road vehicle bylaw. All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Moved by Councilor Moffat, seconded by Councilor Scampanello. Resolved that council is in receipt of administration report ADM 2021-30 submitted by Florence McLean, CAO, regarding a noise bylaw. Third reading.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to thank Marcel for all the work that he's done on the noise bylaw. As you recall, it was presented to council at the July 14th meeting for first and second reading, with direction from council to seek public input on the proposed bylaw. As you can see, there was a significant amount of responses to our survey and comments. So we did amend the bylaw in a couple of places for several reasons, and I'll just go over the reasons why we've changed it. So we did get some public feedback on the fact that the bylaw didn't speak to the use of compression brakes, also known as Jake brakes or engine retarding brakes. So we did add that into the noise bylaw, that they cannot be used within the town site. So that will be for your consideration. The next area that we amended was with regard to the length of time for idling. That was probably the biggest response that we received back from the public on the noise bylaw. I think many people thought that we were suggesting that there be no idling whatsoever. The draft bylaw that you were presented with last month made reference to vehicle idling no longer than 5 minutes. But then when we looked back on the personnel policy that council approved earlier this year, it did make reference to no idling longer than 10 minutes. So we've made that suggestion in the new noise bylaw to be consistent with what the township wants for its own staff. And there are many exceptions to when vehicles can idle, especially around inclement weather, health and safety, manufacturer recommendations. And so then the third area that we amended the bylaw was in regard to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs actually changing the Municipal Act. Just this month we received notification that municipalities cannot prohibit noise in certain areas related to the Reopening of Ontario Act, specifically around supporting small business. So for any retail business establishments, restaurants, including cafes and bars, hotels and motels, and goods distribution facilities, we cannot regulate noise at any time of the day. So we had to add that into the noise bylaw, that would be an exemption. So those are the areas that we've changed the noise bylaw, and if you are in support in how it's presented, we do recommend that you pass the third reading.
Are there any questions about those changes?
as far as the engine brakes and that, there's no substantial hills in town, so there is no reason to have those brakes on. Other than that, looks good. The only thing that I've heard from public, though, and I don't know if you truly addressed it, was the noise level to be limited to 10 p.m.
Right. So there's three schedules within the noise bylaw. Schedule A is at any time of the day that the noise would be. Sorry, Marcel, what's the wording on that? Prohibited noise.
That would disturb the inhabitant. So any noise cannot. If an inhabitant is disturbed, no matter what time of day, there's no exact.
So the
Sorry,
Schedule
what
A.
is this?
So Schedule A outlines any prohibited noise that may disturb a resident at any time of the day, 24 hours a day. Schedule B outlines certain types of noise, especially around commercial operations, that would be limited between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. And then Schedule C outlines all the exemptions. So there are certain noises that cannot be made at any time of the day.
Okay.
And I think that was a bit confusing.
I think that's what it was, a confusion of, people were saying, well, we can't have get-togethers in our backyard, in the summertime when it's still daylight out, until 11 p.m. I think that was the key. It was just a 1 hour difference.
Right. And so when we asked that question in the survey, you'll notice in the survey results that it was pretty much even across the board, whether it was 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or people were unsure. So we didn't make any change to that time.
Okay, but again, sorry, just to clarify again, it is it complaint initiated?
Yes, absolutely.
It is? Okay, thank you.
I think Marcel might want to say something.
Yeah.
So just to the chair, just to your party at night, your 10, 11, 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
even if it's 8 o'clock and the neighbor gets disturbed, we can go ahead and say, look, keep the noise down or cut it out. So even if you put 11 o'clock, that part, it wouldn't affect
Doesn't
it
matter.
because it's
Okay.
24 hours a day.
Right. Okay, perfect.
Just it.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay. And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of Council's review and consideration that Council passes the final reading of the noise bylaw as presented at the August 11th, 2021 Council meeting, being a bylaw to prohibit noises within the Township of Manitouwadge, and further that Council rescinds bylaw number 08-09, being a bylaw to control noise. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Hudson. Resolved that Council is in receipt of Administration Report ADM 2021-31, submitted by Florence McLean, CAO, regarding personnel policies.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, 3 more persons for a job at the Township, and they may be related to their direct supervisor or may be related to Council, and what the obligations are in terms of making that process open and fair for all candidates. The second personnel policy is in regard to smoking in the workplace. So it defines what the workplace is and where that is, and it does include municipal vehicles. And it's also in line with the Smoke-Free Ontario Act. So it just spells that out for staff. And the third policy is the job evaluation procedure, which is important in terms of being consistent with the Pay Equity Act. But it also allows staff, if they feel that they're doing work that's different from their job description, perhaps they've been given new duties or new assignments, that it can trigger a job evaluation done by a committee, and it may put them at a different pay scale if the committee is in favor of making that recommendation. So just 3 policies this time that help guide staff.
Any questions about the policies? And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of Council's review and consideration, Council approves Personnel Policy Number 2021-19, Employment of Relative Policy, and further that Council approves Personnel Policy 2021-37, Smoking in the Workplace, and further that Council approves Personnel Policy 2021-41, Job Evaluation Procedures. All in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Moffat. Resolved that Council is in receipt of Administration Report ADM 2021-32, submitted by Florence McLean, CAO, regarding the 2021-2025 Strategic Plan.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. As you recall, staff and council had a training day in May to talk about the strategic plan, its importance, how it can be used to guide the municipality in terms of growth and development. And based on that discussion, staff have put together a draft strategic plan which was presented to you in June, and with direction from council to seek public consultation on the draft plan. You'll see in the survey results that there were about 20 responses, significant support for the vision, the mission, and as well the capital projects that were presented in the strategic plan. And there were no changes made to the strategic plan based on the comments since you've seen it in June, with the exception of adding in some appendices at the end, giving staff and council advice and guidance on how to use the strategic plan and how we got to where we are today. Just some background information. And the recommendation is for council to approve the strategic plan, have it posted, and start to implement it.
Any questions? Perfect. And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of council's review and consideration, that council approves the 2021-2025 strategic plan as presented at the August 11th, 2021 council meeting, and further that council directs staff to post the strategic plan to the website for public information, and further that council directs staff to schedule a one-year review of the strategic plan to update council on the progress of identified action items and assessment on emerging priorities in May 2022. All in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Hudson. Resolved that council is in the receipt of Administration Report ADM 2021-33 submitted by Florence McLean, CAO, regarding a community improvement plan.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. This is the final piece of the community revitalization project. This is actually the legislative piece that's required through the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and the Provincial Planning Act that allows the municipality to offer grants and loans and incentives to encourage the private businesses, private landowners to participate in revitalization efforts. You'll recall in the Community Revitalization Plan, that's a 20-year guiding document for council to look at key infrastructure projects as recommended not only by the consultants but through our public consultation with the community. So the Community Improvement Plan, because it's legislated, it does require several renditions of public consultation. We did have that out to the public for quite a while, actually, during the beginning of the process back in 2020, and then again later in 2020 when we had the draft up, and then once again when it was the final version. So those are the results of the survey that you'll see in front of you. Upon review and development of this report, we realized that we also had to have bylaws. So that was the additions on tonight's agenda, the bylaw to outline exactly where the community improvement area is. In our official plan from 1986, we did have it outlined, but it didn't include some of the newer development areas around Matachewan, Wendigo, Brooks, Barnett, and McDonald. So we worked with the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing to expand the area of the community improvement plan to be that as similar as the town site itself. And so that also extends out to the Gico Bridge as well. And the bylaw, once passed by council tonight, sets out another 20-day waiting period in which the public can appeal the bylaw, and also sets out how that's done. And if there are no appeals, then we can adopt the community improvement plan. We can develop a program for private residents, private businesses to make application to upgrade their properties. And all of that will be brought back to council so that you can see what the program is going to look like, and then also set a budget to what you'd like to see in contributions and to what types of projects as well.
Questions? No. Okay. And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of council's review and consideration, that council approves the community improvement plan as presented, and further that council authorizes staff to notify the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing of the approval of the community involvement plan, improvement plan following the required 20-day waiting period. If there is no appeals made, and further that staff develop a community improvement plan and associated budget to bring back to council in December 2021 for review. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Scampanella. Resolved that council is in receipt of administration report ADM 2021-34 submitted by Florence McLean CAO regarding Manitou Road water distribution and road upgrade.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. I'm actually quite excited to have this report in front of you tonight because it is a culmination of all the work that we've done over the past year and a half with the Community Revitalization Plan to actually bring you a project that will have both infrastructure and physical upgrades that you will see. It's not just underground improvements, it's roadway improvements as well. And the reason that we can bring this project to you is because we have the plan in place. We have a document that can be used as rationalization to the government that we need this work done. Here's the costing. We've done some Class D estimates. We know what the scope of the work is. And without that document, we wouldn't be able to have this project in front of you today. So that's why that document is so important. But through the Infrastructure Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, ICIP, they came out with another intake for green water infrastructure. It's only applying to water, so it could be an upgrade to a water plant, or it could be the distribution system itself. Staff met with Aqua a few weeks ago to talk about what potential projects we could put forward to council for consideration. They advised that the water treatment plant is in great shape and it doesn't require any upgrades, but they did recommend upgrading some of the distribution system. And we talked about Manitou Road so that we could include the roadway infrastructure upgrades as well as is laid out in the community revitalization plan. And so I put some cost estimates together for council's consideration. We have another meeting with Aqua coming up this Friday to get a better sense of what those costs are. So these costs are estimates only. But it's really important to staff that council is aware of the project. There will be a municipal contribution, and it will take several years before we actually see the results of this. So we would expect funding approval in 2022 and then go to design and tender, and with the physical upgrades actually happening in 2023. So this is beyond the scope of this term of council, but it's important that council is involved in all the steps along the way in terms of the approvals that are required. So again, the funding would be taken from the infrastructure reserve fund for the municipal contribution, but we would apply to not only the ICIP fund for the water distribution, but we would also apply to FEDNOR and NOHFC for sanitary sewer and the road upgrades, which include new sidewalks and a bike lane and curbs and gutters. So it would be quite a physical project in terms of what Manitou Road would look like from the entrance through to the town office, including the roundabout.
Any questions?
Let's do it.
Okay. And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of council's review and consideration that council approves the following applications to be made for Manitou Road West, ICIP water distribution mains, NOHFC road and sidewalk replacement, bike lanes and sanitary sewer main replacement, FedNor road and sidewalk replacement, bike lane and sanitary sewer main replacement, and further that council commits to fund the remaining balance of the project cost estimated at $1.266 million. All in favor? Now we get to the bylaws. Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Scampano. Being a bylaw to regulate noise within the municipality of Manitowoc be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2021-27. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Scampanello. Being a bylaw to prohibit the operation of off-road vehicles on some roads and properties within the Township of Manitowoc be read a first and second time. And further be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2021-28. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Hudson. Being a bylaw to adopt a trespass to property procedure policy be read a first and second time. And further be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2021-29. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Moffat. Being a bylaw to designate a community improvement project area for the Township of Manitowoc be read a first and second time. And further be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2021-30. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Hudson. Being a bylaw to adopt a community improvement plan for the Township of Manitowoc be read a first and second time. And further be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2021-31. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Moffat. Whereas Section 239(4) of the Municipal Act 2001 SO 2001 C25 provides that before holding a meeting or part of a meeting that is to be closed to the public, a municipality or local board or committee of either of them shall state by resolution the fact of holding of the closed meeting and the general nature of the matter to be considered at the closed meeting. Now therefore be it resolved that this meeting is hereby closed to the public as the subject matter being discussed falls under the following sections. Section 239(2)C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board is land disposition. Section 239(2)E, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, small claims action. Section 239(2)B, personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employee, its personnel matters. Section 239(2)B, personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, and Section 239(2)E, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, personnel matters. All in favor? Thank you.